talking. I'm here with Chris Warren. We just got done with our 3 to 6 p.m. show, and now we're going to continue the conversation about severe weather.
Yes,
and
we are.
It's already popping up. It's already popping.
Yeah, and it has been popping for a while. In fact, it's this area of low pressure up here. There's snow up here, and take the red and show you right up there. There's snow, but then look at this. We track this all the way down here, and within this area, showers, storms, and it's even a severe thunderstorm warning right now.
Right here. Just
what color do you want?
I'll do blue. Why not? Yeah, right in this area we have a severe thunderstorm warning that's popped up. This is in effect until 6:15 p.m. Ryan, do we have any details on this? Hail? Here we go. This is what we're watching.
There was large hail.
There was some
It
hail.
seemed to have hail. It's not showing much hail anymore.
All right. Well, it did, and it did have quite a bit of hail, actually. I mean, you take a look at that. I mean that's up to severe levels. I mean, and then we're seeing some gusty winds with that, too. So, I mean, the threat continues as that whole line of storms really pushes through the area. And, I mean, it's going to continue through tonight and tomorrow, and then we have another round expected over the weekend.
Yeah, real serious stuff this weekend. So the Weather Channel is going to be the place to be if you have loved ones through a big portion of the country, from the plains all the way to the Ohio Valley. If you live in those areas this weekend, you want to be on the Weather Channel. Right now, there's another severe thunderstorm warning that's in the... What's that?
I said I was moving on.
It's in Ohio, and okay.
Here we go.
You're talking about the weekend.
Oh yeah. So we're going to talk about, here we go, the torcons that are in effect. And a torcon is the way we scale our tornadoes, and we put a rating on them. The threat for tornadoes. Yeah, not our tornadoes. The threat for them, and it's on a 1 to 10 scale, and this is a 4 out of 10 for Oklahoma City, Dallas, and Little Rock. So if you kind of put it in a percentage, it's a 40% chance of seeing a tornado. Not quite a coin toss flip, but almost there, you know? A little bit less than the 50-50 chance. And this is just for Friday night.
And so this is how the ingredients are coming together right now. There's an upper level dip in the jet stream, so it just creates a situation in the upper levels where the short story is there's going to be a tendency for some areas to have lift. There's a little void created, and air from the surface will come up. And this air that's coming up is some very warm and moist air. And once that air starts rising, it can also be initiated by the density differences here with the dry air and the moist air, and then along this stationary boundary, and eventually the cold front's going to come through. But essentially, once the atmosphere is such that once the air starts rising, it's going to keep rising, and the fact that the winds are going in different directions, these big storms may start spinning, and those spinning storms tend to last longer, and it gets to the situation where they get tilted a little bit, the rain doesn't fall in the downdraft, so they extend, they keep going, and you end up with some bad stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at the severe threat stretching in that red area. This is the highest chance of seeing a tornado, those really strong winds, and some really large hail. So, I mean, it's pretty much a long stretch. And this is just for Friday and Friday night. We have more torcons in the severe threat for Saturday. Here we go. And it's looking kind of similar. I mean, the problem with this is that we're having a slow-moving system, so some of the same areas are going to be hit 2 days in a row.
Yeah, and that's also something to think about, too. I mean, once there's one round comes through, and then another one. In fact, the threat in some areas increases on Saturday, and we're a couple days away, so our confidence is pretty high. Check in with us Saturday morning. Oftentimes that number goes up. Not always, but oftentimes it does, at least for some areas. I think it's possible it could go down, too, but this far ahead, usually it means that the conditions are such that it's looking likely there's going to be some very strong storms.
Yeah, and then we have the flood threat. That's going to be a huge concern because in the same spots that are seeing the potential for severe weather, we're also looking at very, very heavy rain. This is 5 to 8 inches in those orange colors, 3 to 5 in those yellows. And, I mean, what we saw in Raleigh, I mean, even though that was tidal influence, we can still see a lot of impacts with flooding.
Absolutely. Here's the flood threat and what we're looking at. Here are the areas. Parts of Oklahoma, parts of Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, even parts of Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas there. And the deal with this, there's been a lot of rain, so some of the ground's maybe not completely saturated, but the rivers are swollen, and there's a lot of moisture already in the earth. And when that happens, think about when you're watering your plants at home, dry soil is going to take a lot more water than if you just watered it yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So that water is going to go right through the plant. And that's kind of the same thing. You get a lot more runoff with moist, especially saturated ground. It's going to be slow moving, so a lot of rain over the same areas. That's bad news. And going along with that, the stalled front is where there's going to be the focus for that, and the record moisture in the atmosphere. We're talking moisture coming up from the Caribbean, from the Leeward and the Windward Islands, coming all the way across the Caribbean, up past. If you've been to Cancun, you know how humid that is? This air is passing Cancun on the way up here to the Midwest.
All right. Ryan is going to bring that up.
How does that happen?
Well, it's just it's the flow of the atmosphere. I mean, it's
weather pattern of what we have in store. We have high pressure right over here.
and you can
Can't
tell
see because of the winds.
right because there's a clockwise swirl around high pressure. So when you get that high pressure set up, look what's happening.
It's
See how that works?
pumping straight up. I mean, and there's nothing really to block it. No mountains that will bring out any of that moisture like what you have in the West Coast. But this is open game, free game right there.
And the other thing too, there's we're not talking wintertime. There's a lot of vegetation too, which can give off moisture. And the recent rain that we've seen can also give off moisture from the soil into the air. So we're looking at an atmosphere that is primed and ready to roll when it comes to the chance for some severe weather.
And that's Saturday, and the threat continues even into Sunday. We can still see lots of rain and into Monday. So really, we're watching tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, possibly even into Monday. So that's what, 4 days straight where we're going to see these impacts. It's a lot.
Yeah, here's Sunday. That threat now right over Mississippi, all the way up to almost the entire state of Indiana. Maybe Gary, Indiana's out of it, but almost the entire state. Half of Kentucky, half of Tennessee, half of Alabama. That's where the strongest storms are. But don't forget, there's danger in the orange
Exactly,
too. Lightning and heavy rain.
Oh yeah, I mean, just because, we have this red area highlighted, it doesn't take much for a rogue tornado to just kind of flip out over here either. So, something to be aware of as we get into the rest of this weekend. So this is Sunday, and again, we had that threat for tomorrow, Saturday, and now into Sunday. We have Torcons all in effect as well.
Yep, so that's Sunday. And then how about Monday? That severe weather threat now moving into Georgia, the entire state of South Carolina, the northernmost Carolina there, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. This is a northeast threat now here on Monday. A damaging wind is going to be a threat with this. Also, the potential for some hail, some spotty hail. And can't rule out a tornado either on Monday.
Yeah, and it's been active. I mean, this past winter has been pretty severe and pretty intense. And now we're getting into spring and it's already really active. I mean, where's that graphic, Ryan, where Chris showed it earlier with the graphic of all the tornadoes each state has already hit?
So it's the tornado tally so far this year through last week, through the 19th.
Kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy. In fact, was it you and I that were like, is this right?
Right. It's like, there's been 104 tornadoes in Georgia this year.
And that's significant. And think about this. I mean, just look at the size of the state, right? Look how big Texas is.
Yeah.
It's a much bigger target. What would you rather throw a dart at, Texas or Georgia? Right? And this is an area that's prone for severe weather. The moisture source, cold fronts coming through. But Georgia, and look, here's another one, Ryan. How about this? Look at the surrounding states.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
28, that's pretty high in Alabama, 9 in South Carolina, 8 in Florida, and a lot of the storms have been down here, haven't they?
Nobody's been really, really close to Georgia.
Yeah, this was like 80, and this was 70.
Then okay, maybe it makes sense.
Right.
That's just 104. You're like,
The data is something's weird.
remember that?
But
here's
we trust Dr. Forbes.
Yeah. Well, then here's this too, and Leon and I were talking about this earlier in this week.
Yeah.
This is the amount of tornado warnings that have been issued by the National Weather Service offices so far this year. So the interesting thing is, okay, it kind of looks weird. You've got maybe 40, 50, 60 tornado warnings in some of these states in the South, but that's not what's weird, because we usually get severe storms in the deep South in the early part of the year.
Yep.
It's up in Illinois. That area is weird because they usually see severe weather until the summer.
Yeah, right. The Quad Cities.
Yeah.
And they get some of them are in forecast to get snow in the next couple of days, like mixed precip up there.
You know, I've been waiting for somebody to bring up snow. Don't talk about Leon's shoes.
it out. Your winter boots.
I've been waiting for however long it's been to have an excuse
You're
to
just
talk
waiting
about
for it,
it. You were
waiting.
wearing those on air today, were you?
No, I wasn't.
I'm pretty sure Georgia is not anywhere in this mess.
I know, exactly. I'm prepared for this right here. Right here. Well, Denver, I mean, you're going to be getting out with a lot of snow here. And it's just one day. And that's what's really crazy, is all the snow is going to hit in one single day.
But here's the thing, too. This is the time of year where you can get these huge snowfall amounts. Parts of these western states is when this time of year, March and April, you end up with some of the snowiest months. And part of that, it's the flow of the atmosphere, but also, what's the big deal? Flooding. There's
Yeah.
more moisture coming up into the atmosphere. So you tap into some of that moisture, bring it into some cold air, hit the mountains, that air goes up, that very moist air goes up, it's cold, comes down, and dumps snow.
I know, this is a lot of snow still. I mean, the Pacific Northwest especially hasn't really seen much of a break, but still, this is considered a late season event
Sure.
still, and we're still talking about a foot to a foot and a half, even 2 feet of snow in these little tiny dotted areas. So the ski bunnies, everyone who wants to ski, snowboard.
Did you mean to just say bunnies, or did you mean ski bums?
I meant ski bums.
Ski
and
bunnies is fine with me.
You know,
Ski bunnies
ski
is fine.
bunnies.
That's fine.
Hey,
I'm a
hey,
ski
talking
bum
to
myself.
I'm
a
just
snowboard.
I'm just a straight bum.
I'm a
the
snowboard
ladies
bum.
out there.
You're a straight bum.
Just straight bums.
Everyone's gonna be happy.
But like the
with
ski
it,
bunnies.
you know?
Right.
If you like the snow, you're gonna be happy.
Oh, man.
All right.
Good stuff.
It's good, clean fun
All
right there.
right. Well,
What else we got? What else we got?
I
yeah.
don't know, what do you want to do?
What's the coolest thing in that Max machine?
The coolest thing in that Mac?
Coolest thing that you've got?
What was the coolest thing that we talked about today?
On air or off the air?
Well, it was off the air, but
Jetstream dip was kind of
the
cool.
Jetstream dip was pretty funny. Yeah, that was.
Question is.
Okay, so yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So if you were actually to have a dip, and it was Jetstream dip, what kind of dip would it be?
We know
Like
our-
an actual eating.
Yeah, like an actual
if you,
eating dip.
You were a food company, and we
Oh,
said,
I like
here's,
this.
here is your task is to create a dip, but it has to be called Jetstream dip.
I'm thinking something sweet. I'm thinking something with marshmallows and chocolate and
Light
the,
and
like
airy
the
and-
what is it? The fluff stuff. You know,
Okay.
I'm thinking something like that with cookies.
Kind of sweet. Oh,
All right,
you
all right.
know?
Totally different side of that.
Totally.
Okay. What
You
did
went
you guys
sweet.
say?
We were going savory.
Okay. All right.
I was saying
And
like,
even spicy.
and even because I was thinking like hummus, you know, just it's kind of just uniform. And then Chris's idea was
It's got to have a little zest to it.
so it's got to
Yeah.
zest, but we don't have anything. Hang on, wait a minute. Pat, come back around here.
Well, there's
Actually, Brian, come over here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can you pull up a blank slate?
I can actually. You know what I'll do? I'll pull up the. I'll pull
Because
up.
I think
I'm
when
trying
I think of jet stream, I'm thinking of the sky, and I thought of clouds,
Okay.
and that's where I went with like the marshmallow
All right,
sweet
yeah, you
thing.
go, blank slate.
Okay, blank slate.
Alright.
So, just feel like this is just gray colored, okay? So, we have our container, and within it, you first said ranch, right? Didn't you?
Ranch, something bland, something not, you know,
So here's our ranch.
something not,
Okay.
you know.
Right? And in this dip, we can have, there might be, a little bit of,
Oh, okay.
whatever's in ranch.
Yeah,
Alright.
right.
Whatever the
There's
spice
little
is.
things in there, some
Sounding
things
delicious.
or whatever,
Original
Kicker.
thought was a little bit of like chili, red chili or something.
or sriracha.
And then we're thinking sriracha.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
so the sriracha will be mixed in it, so have kind of a pink vibe to it. But it'll also have, kind of like how hummus, like that has the roasted peppers on it,
yeah.
will be a strip of sriracha, and it'll be a dip in the jet stream.
Oh, boom!
That's
right,
it
there.
right there.
That's the one.
TM.
That's it. Nobody can take it from us.
And then we also thought it could be all dips. So you have your whole line of dips.
Right.
But if it's a jet stream dip, it's going to have a kick to it. You only went so far.
I would say, like, you could go like the really spicy kind.
Yeah.
Right? Let's see if I can. Let's see. So we got a container.
Oh man. I think
Yeah.
we're getting kind of hungry. Is
It
this
is.
a sign?
That's
It is
right.
getting
Sorry.
close to
So
our dinner time.
if you're really gonna go spicy, it's gonna be negatively tilted.
Oh man.
This was an actual conversation
Today.
today that lasted for more than
Several commercial breaks.
several commercial breaks.
Several commercial. This was well thought out. I don't know if it was well thought out.
Oh my
but
goodness.
But it was thought out.
It was thought
It's
out.
definitely thought
Very
out.
well thought
We
out.
thought a lot.
So it works ranch, blue cheese.
So the next party we
Banana
have,
hummus?
we're gonna have
Absolutely.
Jetstream dip.
Jetstream dip.
All right, I'm gonna bring my sweet jet
You
stream
bring
dip.
your dessert
You
right
know,
here.
with some cookie dippers. You know, I think that's good. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us for not Weatherston Alive. Now I'm still in show mode. But
Way down,
you know,
way
I
down.
know,
You can
bring
turn
it
off
down,
the automatic
you know?
pilot now.
Exactly right. Well, thanks so much for joining us for this Facebook Live. This is us, cool and relaxed and just in our element.